I just love being a mermaid. I mean, how could I not? I can breathe underwater, I can swim fast wherever I choose, I can make friends with all the other fish.
Oh, thanks, Dolly.
Dear Lucy, please could you make a story about a mermaid that gets captured by pirates and needs rescuing? Wait, did this just say pirates? Oh no! The sand was hot beneath Ella's feet as she walked along the beach. Her family, enjoying drinks in the shade behind her, had allowed her to go off and explore, just as long as she didn't go too far. Munching on gummy bears, Ella quickly found the white sand almost unbearable to walk on, so she stepped into the shallow surf, kicking up the cool water in soothing splashes. She felt so lucky to be on vacation on such a beautiful island. Colorful parrots squawked amongst the palm trees as she followed the curve of the beach to enter a neighboring bay. Tasting another gummy bear, she decided that she must be looking at some sort of theme park up ahead. There was what looked like a pirate ship anchored in the bay's center. Buzzing with excitement, she immediately made plans to ask her parents if they could visit. And yet, as she began to walk around the bay, there were no sign of any buildings or rides or anything, just the ship. And it was definitely a pirate ship. She could see the skull and crossbones flag upon the mast. Perhaps someone was shooting a movie, Ella decided. Yes, that must be it. She looked for the film crew, or maybe even a famous actor, but there didn't appear to be anyone on board. My, said a sly voice from behind her, so close that it made her jump. What have we here? Ella found herself surrounded by pirates. They were all scowling at her, not a single friendly face amongst them. Two were dragging a heavy wooden chest, while another carried a long-handled shovel. But the leader, wearing an eye patch and red bandana, looked the meanest of them all. On his shoulder sat a grumpy-looking monkey. Oh, it seems to me that we've caught ourselves a spy, said the leader. Or a thief, Captain, said a female pirate with a tattoo of a snake across her arms. Aye, agreed the captain. A thief. Best we take her with us. Ella, outnumbered by the pirates, was taken prisoner. The pirates retrieved a rowing boat hidden amongst the trees, into which they loaded the wooden chest and Ella before climbing in themselves. For the most part, the pirates seemed to ignore her, all except the monkey, that is. It just stared at her from the captain's shoulder, looking just as grumpy as when she'd first laid eyes upon it. What shall we do with her, Captain? Asked the female pirate once they were aboard the ship. Throw her in the brig for now, sneered the captain as he stared at the wooden chest. I've got me some gold to count. Ella was prodded below deck to a room where the female pirate lifted a key from a hook. In front of them was a jail cell containing piles of dirty clothing strewn upon a bunk. The only light came from a tiny circular window. Unlocking the cell's door, the female pirate gave Ella a hard shove. Inside, you! She snapped before relocking the door. The key was returned to the hook as the pirate left. Ella was dumbfounded. One moment she'd been enjoying gummy bears on the beach, and next she was the prisoner of pirates. Her poor family knew nothing about this, and yet they were just a short distance away in the neighboring cove. What was she going to do? The pile of dirty clothes on the bunk twitched, causing Ella to shriek. But to her relief, a girl uncurled herself from where she'd been sleeping. Her hair was matted and her clothes were filthy, but despite this, she still managed a friendly smile when she saw Ella. Who are you? She asked. Ella told her name and what had just happened. They think I'm a thief, but honestly, I'm just on vacation. I need to get back to my family. The girl's smile faded. "Oh, you won't see them again," she said. "These pirates are not very nice people. I miss my own family immensely." "Do they think you're a thief too?" asked Ella. "Oh no, not me. They keep me locked up for a different reason," said the girl sadly. "These pirates have collected old treasure maps and the locations of sunken ships and now go around collecting up the treasure that they find. The buried treasure they can get just fine, as you've discovered. But as for the sunken treasure, they need me." "You?" asked Ella. "What's so special about you?" The grubby girl smiled. "It's because I'm a mermaid." Ella looked at the girl's bare feet hanging over the edge of the bunk. "But where is your tail?" "Confusing, isn't it?" nodded the girl as she waggled her feet. "In the water I'm a mermaid, and out of the water I have legs." "Like the little mermaid in the story, who got her legs from the sea witch?" asked Ella in surprise. "Why, yes," replied the mermaid girl. "Although I didn't know there was a story about me. The pirates tie a rope around my waist so I can't swim away. Then they make me dive down to shipwrecks and bring up the treasure. The rest of the time I'm locked in here, alone. It's so nice to have someone to talk to. But I can't stay here," said Ella urgently, "and neither should you." "But Ella, we're trapped here," explained the little mermaid gently. The room suddenly darkened, as if a huge cloud had passed in front of the sun. Looking to the small window, Ella could see the shape of the grumpy monkey sitting there, watching them both. "Leave us alone, Augustine," explained the little mermaid. "We're just talking." But the monkey ignored her. His attention was focused on Ella. "Why is he staring at me?" Ella asked. "I don't know," answered the little mermaid. "He's not normally bothered about anything other than food. The captain didn't treat him very kindly. The poor thing's half starved." "Oh, no wonder he's so grumpy," said Ella, and reached into her pocket for a gummy bear. "Here," she said, holding it out. Augustine dropped down and scampered over to the treat, carefully lifting it from between Ella's fingers. Retreating a few steps, the monkey devoured it in seconds. "You're certainly a hungry one," said Ella. "Would you like another one?" Augustine sat up, hopeful, as Ella retrieved an orange gummy bear. "This is for you," she said slowly. "But first, you've got to bring me that key over there on the hook. Can you do that?" Augustine didn't hesitate. He hopped between the bars and scaled the wall to the hook. The nimble little monkey had the key lying at Ella's feet a moment later. "Thank you," she said, picking the key up. "And, as promised, this one's for you." And she handed over the orange gummy bear. "I can't believe you did it," laughed the little mermaid. "We can get out of here." "We've still got to get past a ship full of pirates," warned Ella as she unlocked the door. "Then let's do it," said the little mermaid, looking determined. "There's two of us together." Augustine tagged along as the two girls crept up the wooden stairs. They were directly beneath the main deck and could hear pirates thumping about above them as they prepared the ship to sail. "This way," urged the little mermaid, tugging Ella's arm. "Where are we going?" Ella asked. "What's the plan?" "I want to stop by the captain's cabin first," the little mermaid explained. "Are you mad?" hissed Ella. "What if the captain's in there? We'd be caught all over again." "We'll just have to be careful," said the little mermaid. "I'm not leaving here until I can punish that rotten pirate for locking us up." Ella wasn't happy about this, but felt as if she had no option but to follow. They were ducking between hammocks where the crew slept, although there was nobody there now. Then through a door where barrels and boxes were stacked, they arrived at a room that looked like it belonged to an important crew member, with a window set into the back of the ship. "Is this the captain's cabin?" asked Ella innocently. The little mermaid jabbed a finger upwards. "He's up there." She unlatched the window and climbed out, holding a finger to her lips to encourage Ella to be quiet. Carefully, they climbed upwards, Augustine still following. A much grander window greeted them on the next deck, and peering inside, they could see a much more impressive cabin than the one they had just left. The captain sat at his desk, the open wooden chest beside him, counting out gold coins that he arranged into stacks. But the little mermaid wasn't interested in the gold. She was looking at a bag with a long strap hanging off the back of the captain's chair. It was stuffed full of papers and parchments. "The treasure maps," whispered the little mermaid to Ella. "Wait here." Silently, the little mermaid eased herself through the open window to stand directly behind the captain. He was so busy counting his gold that he'd not noticed a thing. The little mermaid reached out and began to lift the strap from the chair, but the captain was leaning against it. He felt the bag move and spun around angrily, grabbing the little mermaid by her wrist. "What have we here?" he boomed. "An escaped prisoner. Two by the looks at the face at my window. Get in here, girl, or your little friend gets it." Quivering, Ella climbed inside, followed by Augustin. "So you're a thief," he sneered at Ella as he stood from his chair. "Trying to steal me maps and charts." He ushered Ella into the middle of the room and latched the window shut, still holding the little mermaid's wrist tightly. "The best thing for thieves is to make 'em walk the plank. So once we're well out to sea, you'll be doing just that, me girl," the captain scowled. So far, he'd ignored his monkey, which had settled on the chair's back. In desperation, Ella pulled out the last few gummy bears and showed them to Augustin. The monkey got the message loud and clear. He leapt onto the captain's back and pushed his red bandana forward, covering his one good eye. With an angry shout, he let go of the little mermaid, who lunged for the bag. Grabbing it, the two girls ran for the cabin's door, with Ella scattering the gummy bears to send the monkey scurrying, adding to the chaos. Hand in hand, Ella and the little mermaid emerged outside, surprising the crew. But before any of the pirates could act, the pair of them were down to the main deck and running for the gap where the plank protruded over the water. Then, when they were crossing it, they started tumbling into the water. There was no time to panic, as Ella felt a slender arm encircle her waist, lifting her to the surface. The little mermaid was transformed. She was no longer the grubby, scruffy child, but a beautiful mermaid. And with a grin, she powered through the water, carrying them out of the bay. They didn't stop until they arrived in the neighboring cove, a short distance away. Ella could see the shack where her parents were enjoying their drinks in the shade. "You're safe now, Ella," said the little mermaid, pushing the bag of maps into Ella's arms. "Go back to your family." "But what about you?" asked Ella. "I'm going to be with mine," she replied with a smile. They hugged in the shallows, the water lapping around their waists. Then the little mermaid turned and was gone. Relieved, Ella crossed the white sand, the hot sun drying her clothes with every step, to share a bag full of treasure maps with her family. The end.
So that you don't miss a single episode, just click that subscribe button.